フェラルと申します。フェリちゃんって呼んでください。I would avoid talking to my share housemates. I am more confident in starting a conversation. Someone thought I was native speaker. 今は楽天で働いています。
すごい楽天
夢ですね。
夢
Expectation needs to be adjusted. Try to make it fun, either make jokes, like don't feel like mistakes will stop you. 僕はトランスジェンダーとクイアであると認識してます。なので日本の LGBTQ のメンバーと交流して彼らの生き方を学びたいです。
All right, so first of all, Farah-san, congratulations on your completion of this master course level 1. And I remember when I met you for the first time was last year, maybe end of summer, right? And then you are kind of like a little unhappy, but also like a little bit you're excited to be able to speak Japanese. So like half like unsure about like you being able to speak Japanese, and also the half like you're a little excited. So like I remember this, we had this conversation. So and then like now you actually even change the job, and also you can even communicate with the people. Like kind of it's totally different from last year. How do you feel?
Yeah, I think what has really changed is my confidence in approaching strangers, basically, because I think I am more confident in starting a conversation than I was previously. I think before, and I was living in share house before. I'm still living in share house now. I would avoid talking to my share housemates in Japanese because it would be difficult for me to communicate. Now I'm a little bit better about it. Like there's sometimes I avoid some very difficult conversations, but day-to-day conversations, I'm able to use my Japanese, and I think people really appreciate it here. And I think there was one time that I had done introduction so well that someone thought I was native speaker.
Really?
So when they
That's
started
so
ask
crazy.
more details, I was like, wait. So it was pretty
my
funny.
God. This is amazing. People think that you are native.
Native speaker, but
yeah. That's amazing. This is, I think, the top best compliment, right?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
they say Nihongo jozu ne. And I usually have a joke now that I usually say back is
What do you say?
I say anata hodo jozu janai desu.
That's good. That's good. I don't know
native speaking.
Yeah. That's nice. This
But so I'm much more confident overall, and I think a big part of it was the course and the coaches that helped me at least keep my studies on track, because I think there were times I really lost motivation, but I would just still show up to class. And I think that really helped me keep going versus just give up entirely. So yeah, thank you for that.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So like, since last year and now, like you actually even have totally different language skill and communication skill, and also you change the job. So like, can you talk about your life, or like you wanted to go totally different place, like how you end up in Japan?
So when I was I moved to Japan about 2 years ago, and literally the day I arrived was the day that Corona was declared a
Oh my
pandemic.
God.
So that was the day I was arriving by my plane, and I'm like, I'm here. But back in Canada, I think one thing that I had fallen into a trend or a pattern was I would just work, then go home, eat, sleep, and then get up, work, and it's just the same cycle over and over. And I just felt like I needed like a change or a shakeup in my life, or at least more exploring something different. And I chose Japan because in my work, actually, a lot of concepts come from Japan. So I am working in agile software development. And things like the Toyota production system came from Japan. Even the initial paper that was written for Scrum, which is an agile framework, came from Japan as well. So that's why I decided to come to Japan. So it was work related, but I also wanted to attend the Olympics when they were scheduled for that time.
Yeah.
And meet other LGBTQ plus people from around the world.
Yeah.
So I arrived with all these dreams, and then on a working holiday visa, I arrived, and then suddenly the
Wow.
pandemic happened, and I had basically zero work for 1 year, and all the free time that I would need
Oh
to
my
find
God.
out my hobbies.
Really? I didn't know
Yeah.
that. So like when you arrived, it was 2019, right? No, 2020. 2020.
2020
And
March. Yeah,
then 1 year you didn't have any job and like
I
it's
didn't
kind of
have any
free
job.
time.
Free time all the way.
Amazing.
So
Amazing.
yeah, I mean the hobbies I ended up getting was like pottery. I enjoyed pottery when I was a kid.
Uh-huh.
So I decided to do Japanese pottery, and now it's been
Uh-huh.
2 years and my
Wow.
pottery is really good. So well, my senseis say it's good, so then I think it's good.
Yeah,
So
definitely. Wow, that's
so
amazing.
yeah, it was really good. And then like boxing as well was something like a hobby that I ended up taking on. And yeah, and like I like walking outside, I like going to the beach. And I didn't know this about myself at all because I would just never do it. So I think yeah, moving to Japan has changed my life.
Like feeling like so let's say I have a book at home to like learn Japanese, right? So anytime I pick it up and I learn something new, I think applying it has been like something that I'm scared to do or don't know how to do or don't know who I can do it with. But I think at home, that's a different story because because I live in a share house.
How
So
much
everyone,
they know you? Like how much?
oh, none at all. I don't think 0%.
So zero understanding for about you, right?
Yeah, I think so. And they probably think I'm either shy or I'm not very talkative or closed off, maybe.
Even they don't know your nationality.
Yeah, I would say some know Canadian nationality, but I don't think everyone knows.
こんにちは。
こんにちは。
じゃあ、お名前は何ですか？
フェラルと申します。フェリちゃんって呼んでください。よろしくお願いします。
フェリちゃん、名前かわいいですね。よろしくお願いします。じゃあ、フェリちゃん、どこ出身ですか？
パキスタンのカラチ出身です。でも、カナダのトロントとバンクーバーにも住んでました。それからサウジアラビアのジェッダにも住んでました。
すごい。
ルミさんはどこ出身ですか？
私、日本の山梨県出身です。山梨は富士山有名です。
富士山
富士山行ったことあります？
行ってみたいです。
ぜひ行ってみてください。カラチ、何が有名ですか？
カラチは市場やショッピングセンターがたくさんあることで有名です。それからカラチの近くにモヘンジョダロというインドス文明の遺跡が残ってます。
遺跡？そうなんですね。カラチは有名な料理は何ですか？
カラチはビリヤニやニハリが有名です。そうです。
そうなんですね。どんな料理ですか？
ニハリは、牛肉の料理です。ビリヤニはチキンと米の料理です。
美味しそう。辛いの好きですか？
めっちゃ好きです。てるみさんは
辛いの大好き。私もカラチに行ってみたいです。
ぜひ行ってみてください。
はい。 ところで、フェリーちゃんはなぜ日本に来たんですか？
欧米と考え方が全く違うので日本に来ました。コロナがパンデミックと宣言された日に日本に着きました。自分の考え方を変える挑戦をするためにとどまることにしました。
今、日本で何をしているんですか？
今は楽天で働いています。
すごい。楽天？
夢ですね。
夢。すごいな。
今はプロセスマネージャーとして AI チャットプロジェクトを管理してます。
で、これから日本で、学んでいきたいもの、何ですか？
僕はトランスジェンダーとクイアであると認識してます。なので、日本の LGBTQ のメンバーと交流して、彼らの生き方を学びたいです。
いいですね。じゃあ、日本人の皆さんに何かメッセージありますか？
僕は旅行が大好きなので、どこかおすすめの場所があったら、ぜひ教えてください。来てくれてどうもありがとうございました。
ありがとうございます。
My first impression, like he lives at the share house, which is like a Japanese environment where he could speak Japanese, but he couldn't speak. He couldn't know how to like start a conversation with Japanese people. Yeah, that's my first impression. Like we work on like making the phrase he could use in the situation in the Japanese environment, and then we create the sentences he could use start speaking to Japanese people, like how to start to speak Japanese people, like oh, how is going, like how is your day today, and then he tried to use the phrases we create in his situation in his life.
So when we had the first lesson together, he was still afraid of joining a conversation. He wasn't confident enough with communicating with Japanese people in Japanese, even though he was trying, but he still needed more practice. So that was my first impression. So we worked on improving his small conversation skills. We practiced many phrases that he can use every single day, especially with his residents in the share house. And also, he wanted to change his job. He wanted to have a better life. So we worked hard on self-introduction phrases so he could express himself better. And he actually got an amazing job at Rakuten. I would like to say congratulations to him. And now he looks so happy. He's living a better life and he can fully use his potential in his new environment. So I really hope he will continue what he's been doing and keep improving.
Toge to Shushin to swimming 好きです。カラチのモヘンジョダロというインドス文明に残ってます。But the other job, it was just for introduction. I just said, oh, はじめまして、フラルと申します。よろしくお願いします。And they were like, oh, that was great. But the interview was in English, so it was no problem.
So
and they've said that my Japanese has improved. So
Oh,
that's
yeah. That's
yeah.
amazing.
So about your future, now you got like your speaking skill and you have amazing job. So and also you are actually transgender and you said you would like to, more enjoy with a new community in Japan. So have you ever tried to join some like a LGBTQ like a group in Japan?
Yeah. And there was the first transgender march in
Mm-hmm.
Japan, in
Mm-hmm.
Tokyo, that happened, I think,
Oh,
last year.
cool.
Yeah, in November. So yeah, there I think many LGBT events
Yeah,
in
it's going
Tokyo.
on because I have seen a lot of, like a demonstration and some like a parade, it's
Mhm.
like a festival. I have seen a lot. So I'm sure it's one of the big actually community in Japan for sure is in Tokyo.
Exactly. The Pride Parade happened in April, and there were many people that came, and
Yeah.
it happened for the first time after 3 years, which was
Mm,
after Corona happened,
yeah,
and I
yeah,
think
yeah,
the
yeah.
previous couldn't do. So yeah, it's I think I've met few LGBT people, but it's been difficult because of Corona that many people
Mm.
are scared to come out. But I think now the status of the virus is
Mm-hmm.
not as severe, but it
Mm-hmm.
could change. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
But I think people are feeling more comfortable going outside. So
Mm-hmm. So Japan Language Factory, we actually our mission is to make the world bilingual and multilingual. So you actually, how many languages now you can speak? Japanese,
ah,
English.
Japanese, English, and I know Urdu, but I need to
Mm.
practice more. That is my
Mm-hmm.
native language.
Mm.
So those are the three languages
Amazing. So
that
three
I speak.
languages. So of course you're gonna keep it up all these three languages. You're not gonna forget. And then
Yeah.
how many languages do you want to learn? Like are you interested in any language?
I think right now I really want to focus on the deepness of each language. So
Mm,
my English is clearly my most deepest understanding of the
mm,
language.
mm, mm, mm,
For Urdu, I think I had a good understanding, but I need to practice it to make it better.
mm-hmm,
For Japanese, I need to deepen more. So I
mm-hmm,
feel like if I add more, I get
mm.
too much,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
for now, my focus is to focus on these three to make them something that I am comfortable with and can
Mm-hmm,
do in a situation. So,
mm-hmm,
not yet, not looking at other
mm-hmm,
languages yet, but I
mm-hmm.
think eventually I might start looking at other languages once I
Yeah.
feel very
Definitely,
comfortable.
definitely.
Yeah.
So what I felt is after three languages, it's very kind of same pattern of learning language.
Mm.
So it's getting much faster. Even your flexibility is getting better. You can pronounce so many type of pronunciation. For example, what I realized is so interesting is, for example, now I'm learning German and I try to
Mm.
talk to German people. German people cannot pronounce th because they don't have th. So that's why everything, for example, three is also Japanese people say three, right? Three, because we don't
Mm.
have th. But then for them is they say tree. So which means
Tree.
tree. Yeah. So it's so funny. So that's when you actually know many languages, you have a lot of flexibility to pronounce because your mouth move a lot of way. So when you add
Ah.
more language, it just goes easily. Like, oh, I know this pronunciation. I know this pronunciation.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, Pharaoh-san, like at last, could you tell me any message to the people who already maybe live in Japan and then kind of struggle to communicate comfortably? And I see, a lot of people try to speak, and maybe they already speaking, but they're not enjoying communicating people because maybe thinking about grammar. Oh, I don't remember this, or I can say only this. I am not like enjoying. So for these people, like, do you have any message to them?
I guess what I would say is I am you, because that is exactly me, right? I feel like for me, my English is so good because I spend so much time wanting to express exactly what I'm thinking and feeling.
Mm.
But because Japanese is completely different language, I will not attain that level at the beginning. So the expectation needs to be adjusted. So I think when I adjusted my expectation and I felt more comfortable making mistake in front of people, I was able to practice more and make more jokes, because for me, humor or making people laugh is something I enjoy doing in English or I enjoy doing in Japanese. That has made it more fun for me. And so when I speak Japanese and there's a fun conversation, it makes me more engaged and want to speak more or want to learn more. Also, look at your life. If there's many things happening in your life, as was in my case, um, it may be that those are things that are making Japanese more stressful than it needs to be. So if you're having stressful situation other places in your life, it might be affecting your studying of Japanese. So those are the advice I'd give: is lower your expectation. Try to make it fun, either make jokes, like don't feel like mistakes will stop you. um, and then last is look at the rest of your life. If you feel like you've done those two things and you're still not progressing, then maybe there's something else going on.
Thank you so much, Farrell-san. Thank
No
you so much for
problem.
joining my YouTube channel. Are you American who live in Japan? So you're actually excited to learn Japanese. But when you started, you realize this is a lot harder than you imagine. But of course, you really want to be able to speak Japanese. You actually can understand what they are talking. You can join the conversation. You can interact them. And you can actually make friends. You can work with them. And you can easily enjoy the life in Japan. Life is only once. Then, of course, you start learning Japanese and hiragana, katakana, kanji, which is 50,000 letters and 500,000 vocabulary, 20 layers of politeness, grammar. Oh my God, this is gonna be a really hard. Then you start to become self-conscious about it, like your speaking skills and stop trying and your pronunciation and losing the motivation. So the language learning itself is already really hard. Learning Spanish, French, German, any languages. But if you chose Japanese language, which is one of the most difficult language, of course you feel like you're not making progress enough, you start forgetting, and you feel like when you really be able to speak Japanese. But you're not alone. These are really common problems that everybody face it. And textbook and language apps cannot talk to you. So you cannot learn how to hold a conversation, how to carry on the conversation naturally. So maybe do you want to change the learning method so you can make the much faster progress? You can feel easier to start speaking. So in our consultation, you can learn what is the fastest way to learn Japanese. What is a new learning method to actually give you this Japanese speaking skills. So sign up our free consultation now.